Hello and welcome to the TAO update. And you're here with me, Fola. And without further ado, let's get into your Q&A questions for January. All right, so the first question is from Crypt. And the first question is, according to the TAO website, out of a total of 42 million Agoras tokens, currently 10 million are reserved for a second token sale. What are the plans for those tokens? Will you make a second sale? And if so, when and under which details and restrictions? So the plans for the future second sale, we are going to have a second sale, but it's so far in the future that we don't really have any plans in actual detail right now. So once we do have those, which will be a very, very long time away, we will definitely let you know as soon as possible. And to the second question from Crypt, they ask, in relation to the first question and in regards to your attempts to interest various VC investment, does any potential VC deal touch the allocation of the 10 million tokens reserved for the sale? Will a VC deal entail the sale of IDNI stock or equity instead or in addition?
We don't sell tokens to the VC. We only offer shares in the company that in particular holds tokens.
And their third question is, it is well known that regulatory oversight and supervision is coming and will be a must for projects who wish to scale up in regards to users, investments and traction, etc. Possible sanctions could be laid down on those who do not comply. Will IDNI, as the legal entity developing TAO and its related products, work on adherence to regulation in various important jurisdictions, for example, the US and the EU, etc.? Are there any concrete attempts to adhere to such regulatory oversight? In terms of compliance to certain regulations, we have submitted a legal opinion to the FMA, and they've agreed that we do not fall under any regulation. And we've also received the same response from authorities in Singapore. So we adhere to EU regulations and certain Asia regulations, and we look to adhere to US regulations as they come related to our project. The next question is from Bada Bing. And they ask, TAO's tech allows powerful tools to reach and understand true consensus and disagreement among large masses. Do you think that there could be value for TAO's ecosystem in developing a platform like Twitter utilizing TAO's tech?
So yes, ultimately a platform or an organization or company like Twitter could use TAO technology to also build their own product in alignment with users' consensus. And instead of having to fully rely on a centralized development team. I mean, they still could have their centralized development team, but then also get a much clearer oversight of the ideas and opinions of its users on how they would want Twitter to behave. So Twitter itself, by tapping into a potential TAO API, could either fully decentralize its own development, possibly, or still rely on a centralized development team, but also take into account the opinions and ideas of its users to a much greater scale as currently possible.
All right, thank you very much, Killian. And Bada Bing's next question is, to my understanding, when mainnet is released, there will be a large sum of coins that will be released or distributed, several million tokens. Could this be a point of concern for current token holders, as this could potentially cause a major sell-off or sell pressure and downtrend in value with almost no available outlets for exchange?
Yes, it can happen, but we will do it in a responsible way together with the community. So basically, it will be up to the community, like everything else on TAO, on how exactly it's going to happen. So one way to go for is that it is released slowly by slowly.
All right, thanks very much, Ahad. And this next question is from Boldly Go, and they ask, are we expected to see new and hopefully reputable non-FTX type trading outlets for the Agoras token in the reasonably near future? Is it important to allow people as many serious places to trade as possible for liquidity purposes and more? Well, the answer to that is yes, it is important to allow people many serious places to trade and reputable places to trade as well, especially non-FTX type exchanges. The reason why we haven't, and we probably won't see exchanges in the reasonably near future, is because of the size of our community. So as the community grows, we will also be expanding on the exchanges, and we hope to do that as soon as possible. Second question they ask, will we be seeing any interesting strategic collaborations announced between IDNI, TAO, and any other serious, well-respected entities? Yes. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen in the community, but we have made a very small announcement that we are now part of NVIDIA's partnership program, which is great for us. and great for them. And we look to find ways to be able to use our software alongside NVIDIA and be able to create some more serious outcomes from that. The next question is from Ronnie, and they ask, will Tauchain be just as easy to use as, let's say, ChatGPT?
Well, in some senses, yes, and in some senses, even easier. So the sense in which it will be as easy, it will take time. It will not be so quickly. First TAO will not be as easy as ChatGPT in this sense, but with time we will add existing NLP tools to allow it to understand natural language in a level similar to that of ChatGPT. Remember that ChatGPT has two parts. One part is the part that understands what you say, and the other part is the part that gives you an answer. And here we need only the first part, because the second part is the logical engine already. So yes, not so fast, but with time we will add support for natural language processing. And for the second part, the sense in which it is easier than ChatGPT, if ChatGPT doesn't understand you, maybe you don't have many ways to deal with it. You don't even know if it understands you correctly. Remember the feeling that sometimes you tell someone something to do something for you, and you tell them, explain, and they say yes, and eventually you have no idea if they got it right. Just like this with ChatGPT. But on TAO or logic-based systems, you know that what you said is exactly what is going to happen. You can trust it to represent you. In this sense, it is easier.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ahad. And the next question is from Satoshi, and they ask, according to the infographics in the TAO website regarding Agoras distribution, there are 10 million tokens reserved for a second token sale. What are the plans and timeframe for this sale? Well, we've already answered that question by a previous question earlier on the Q&A. So you can always refer back to that. And the next question they ask is, will you be taking into account extra measures of security to avoid SEC future problems in regards to such token sale? Of course, absolutely. That is our highest priority during such a token sale. Again, it's going to be far, far, far away. And by that time, we'll have everything in place to make sure that the token sale goes very, very smooth. The next question they ask is, it was mentioned repeatedly that you are trying to draw VC interest. Will a potential VC touch deal on the second ICO? So as I had said, the VC deals that we're looking for at the moment are solely for equity and they are not for tokens. So should current token holders be worried about 12 million tokens, more than 28.5% total token amount being unlocked upon mainnet release? And thank you again, but we have actually answered that question earlier in the Q&A. Cheers. Dr. Bones has asked, would you be willing to consider allowing interested people to invest in IDNI directly? Holding Agoras does not provide any stake in IDNI, of course.
That's right. The holding Agoras does not give a stake in IDNI, but by law, we cannot perform public offering. We cannot go to the community or to the public and say we offer you to buy shares of IDNI, so we cannot do such a thing. But if someone in a private manner wants to buy, then of course we can speak about it.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Ahad. And the next question is from Some of Some. In the past, it was mentioned that Omni tokens that do not move out of the original wallets will be eligible for a 15% bonus. If someone moved a partial amount of Omni tokens and left the rest in the original Omni wallet, will those tokens which didn't move be eligible to get the 50% bonus? And the answer is yes. Next question is from Benario, and they ask, to my understanding, there are about 10 million tokens that were not sold and were reserved for a second token sale. Would you consider either burning them or distributing them to current holders proportional to the holding instead?
Distributing and burning is the same thing, so which of them doesn't matter. And we may do so under certain circumstances.
The next question is from Sir Scott. Hey, good afternoon. Will Tauchain be as easy and fun to use as ChatGPT? We've already answered this question earlier in the Q&A. The next question again is by Ronnie, and they ask, hi, OpenAI's ChatGPT just got valued at $29 billion. Is it fair to say that Tauchain will be better and stronger than ChatGPT and therefore at least get somewhat of a same valuation?
I definitely fully believe so.
And the next question is from Henry. When can we expect Tauchain to be running fully and functionally to all of its capabilities?
All of its capabilities and fully is a lot, because there is really a lot we plan to do. This year, we hope to see something initial of a chain that is controlled by its users using the TAO language. And with time, the rest will come. How to say exactly?
Thank you very much, Ahad. And the next question is from Dana E. Long time no see. Glad to have you back. And they ask, how can TAO capture all the benefits of ChatGPT-like language models whilst also uniquely providing its logical AI solutions? Discussion may benefit from using a ChatGPT-like UI to generate natural language queries into formal languages required for TAO. And there are open source versions. Example-based AI and logical are both needed, in my opinion.
Yeah, so as I said before, in ChatGPT, there are two steps. The first step to understand what you say. The second step is to give the answer. On TAO, the second step, you will already have it from the logical engine. So what is left is only the first step, natural language processing. For that, there are many existing tools. And we plan with time to use those tools and allow natural language interface for TAO.
Fantastic. And the next question is from the GOAT. Who will decide upon the formulation and specification of the base layer rules, those rules that sit at the core and later on enable the formulation and changing of subsequent rules, similar to the fundamental rules of robotics, etc.?
It doesn't make sense for us to put on the table a system for decentralized development and also set its rules. So we intend to put only the very minimum. And the first users will have a big role in shaping how the system will be like in the short term and will also impact the long term.
All right, fantastic. And they ask, what happens if we find out that the base layer of rules is faulty or inadequate to sustain or facilitate a healthy, fully functioning ecosystem?
Well, that would be one reason why we put so much emphasis on the ability to change the law of changing the laws, the ability to change.
And their last question is, if basic things such as the tokenomics like total coin supply, distribution, etc., can be drastically changed at any given time, given a certain majority is reached, could this be a deterring factor for potential token holders?
Indeed, for this reason, the laws of changing the laws need to, the language that supports laws of changing the laws, and mind you, there isn't such a language, we had to invent a new one. No other language supports this. It has to support things like never in the future something can happen. For example, never in the future someone will be able to dilute all the others.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Ahad. And the next question is from V. Current generative models require a lot of computing power for inference as well. How does the performance compare with TAO in terms of speed of synthesis and required configuration? Thank you.
Well, this we will know only once we'll be there. We cannot tell from now how exactly the performance will be like, but I can say that it will be ongoing effort that will never end to always improve the performance.
Thanks, Ahad, and thank you to V for that question. The next question is from Solo, and they ask, why is there no staking and liquidity mining rewards to attract capital? Plenty of crypto projects are doing this.
We are not trying to attract capital. Definitely not by means like this. If someone is interested in the project, it will be for what the project is about and not some kind of yet another Ponzi scheme, infinite printing of money and so on. Mining, right now we are in ERC20 tokens, so there is no need for mining, but in the Tauchain, in the dedicated chain of TAO that will hopefully start this year, we will need miners or stakers or anything of this kind to validate the chain, and it may be incorporated with the reward.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ahad. The next question is actually from Stochastic Parrot, and they ask, could you please tell us a bit more about the BDD computation network? What are the eligible works and providers? For example, the CPU, GPU, and so on.
BDDs on GPU is tricky. There is some very few works about it. Still unclear to which extent this whole thing will be efficient on GPU. Well, what else can I address in this question? The BDD computation network is a network where people delegate BDD operations to nodes on the system, and they can trust the result and also pay for this computation.
All right, thanks so much, Ahad. And the next question is from Sir Andrew, and he asks, my question is about the first rules to be created on TAO. Will both the rules that can be changed and the rules that cannot be changed be determined in alpha scaling discussions? Thanks.
I don't see a case where we ship the TAO with rules that cannot be changed. So in the first version, I expect everything to be changeable.
And the next question is from Bobby, and they ask, can you please explain a little about whether censorship is possible in a system like Taunet?
It is possible if the users decide that something will happen, then this thing will happen. That's the whole point of development in the hand of the users.
Thanks, Ad. And next question is from Mika, and they ask, it would be great to have a state of affairs on Agoras tokenomics. Was there any change to the supply? What are the plans for it in the next 2 years? And an estimated time of arrival for the swap? Can we confirm its essential network status and describe how the recent funding effort may interplay with the Agoras tokens? Thank you. So we've answered this question in various ways over this Q&A. So the question on funding and how it interplays with the Agoras tokens, we're only going to be taking equity from VCs. So we won't be selling tokens to VCs. The plans for the Agoras token itself, as you know, it's an ERC20 token. And as you know, we look to push our blockchain this year. So definitely within the next 2 years, we should have our own blockchain. And during that time, we'll have a swap from the current ERC20 or Omni token to the new blockchain. And any change to the supply? None. Next question is from Brian, and they ask, please can you outline what conversational programming is and if it applies to Taunet? Thank you.
I know very little about the world of conversational programming, but from what I know, it is not about general programs, but it is about very, very specific things. So you have very specific options to choose from. And we, in TAO, we deal in a much larger generality. So it will be flexible enough to create a wide variety of software.
Thank you very much, Brian. And the next question is from Taoist. And they ask, what are your thoughts on Bittensor?
I find the project quite interesting. I mean, ultimately, I think they want to create a market for machine intelligence. But also what is to say is that, well, they are based on machine learning. And I'm not so sure exactly how the different models over Bittensor ultimately will learn from each other to create this really strong AI. And yeah, also what is to say, since it's based on machine learning, still comes with all the disadvantages of machine learning as opposed to logic-based AI.
The next question is from Fofo, and they ask, with the recent AI sector boom and it encroaching towards a somewhat Tauchain-alike structuring, have we noticed it to be of assistance to our pitching efforts towards VCs, a form of given validity? Well, certainly being an AI project and the theme of, I guess, the flavor of the tech world being very, very heavily focused on AI right now will certainly help us, and us positioning ourselves to make the best of that is certainly going to help us, the projects, and everyone involved in the current and future Taunet ecosystem. The next question is from Thomas, and they ask, how does Taunet prevent its AI from going rogue?
It is prevented in two ways. One is it is possible to tell TAO what to not do, not only what to do, in contrast to traditional programming. In programming, you can only say what to do. You cannot say what to not do. But on TAO, you can also say what to not do. And the second thing is that TAO is controlled by the users. It belongs to the people in a true way, that they really control it. It doesn't belong to one entity that you have no idea what's their intentions. So those two things are a strong protection against the case of rogue AI.
All right, fantastic. Thanks so much, Ahad. And a massive shout out to all of our community members who have watched this and posted questions. Crypty, Bada Bing, Boldly Go, Ronnie, Satoshi, Dr. Bones, Henry, Sir Scott, Binario, Dana, The Great, V, Solo, Stochastic Parrot, Sir Andrew, Bobby, Mika, Brian, Taoist. Thank you all so much. And we will see you in the Telegram channels and Twitter and all the other places that you can find us. Thank you.